Throws it over the middle. Touchdown, Antonio Brown. And this place erupts.
Has time in the pocket. Throws over the middle. Brown makes the catch. He's in the end zone. Touchdown.
You look at what Antonio Brown's doing. He just finds a way to get open, finds a way to, attack people down the field. I think it's close, but I think Antonio Brown's the best receiver in the game.
It was really challenging for our team to find highlights of you, just so you know. We had to really dig for that footage. This guy, arguably the best receiver in the NFL, needs no introduction. Antonio Brown here with us. We're at Steelers camp. You led the league in receptions last year, tied for the most and second most in NFL history. Pretty good season for you. Antonio, thank you for being with us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
We appreciate it. All right, no secret, you're unhappy with your contract, but you decided not to hold out. Why didn't you?
Well, I have a lot of respect for Mr. Dan Rooney. Obviously, holdouts never go well, and you can never supplement being in football shape and being around your teammates anywhere in the world other than training camp, and that's why I'm here. The first step of getting better is showing up, and I want to start things off on a positive note.
Isn't that a problem for you, though, in the sense that no good deed goes unpunished? Yeah. So Antonio Brown, they know this is a guy who we don't have to pay him now because he's going to go out and put the work in and ball out regardless. So if we have another year, maybe if you weren't that type of guy, you get paid now. Do you ever consider that?
No, well, it's my job to be ready to go when the season starts. It's up to my agent to deal with all the other things. Right now, I'm just here singly focused on bettering my game and being ready to go.
Are you convinced that this might not happen for you this year, that you might have to go through this year and there is no discussion because the Rooneys and the way the Steelers do things, not with 2 years left, 3 years left, it's only when you got about 1 year left or less that they're going to negotiate your deal? Are you prepared to go this season knowing that the likelihood of you getting that contract extension is not going to happen?
Well, my focus is simply just getting better, letting Drew Rosenhaus take care of all those things. I'm just here to do my part in regards to being in shape and being ready and putting my wood on display. I know things will fall in place.
You had the same amount of receptions as Julio Jones last year, 136. Had 1,800-plus yards. He had a little bit more. But somebody like myself and others, I look at you because of what you do with punt returns, not just as a wide receiver. I consider you the best in the game. Do you consider yourself the best in the game, or do you think that there's somebody out there that deserves to be compared to you?
Well, there's no doubt, man. I'm one of the top guys in the league. There's a lot of other guys that's out there doing it. A lot of other guys I commend myself to, but I consider myself one of those guys.
And yet, are you I look at the Steelers, I go, man, Ben Roethlisberger's going to the Hall of Fame. He should be in the best quarterback in the league argument more than he is. Le'Veon Bell, when he's on the field, that's the best running back in the game. Are you even the best offensive player on your own team?
Well, we got a lot of great players. Speak volumes of our quarterback, Hall of Famer quarterback, our center, our offensive lineman in general, our running back. I mean, we got a great team, not only great individuals, but a great offense collectively, and we want to do positive things.
Are you happy with the season that you had last year, or are you a bit frustrated at its ending? The hit by Vontaze Burfict, knocking you out, making you miss the AFC Championship game, in a lot of people's eyes, potentially costing you guys a Super Bowl berth, because if you were on the field, you might have beat the Denver Broncos. Have you looked at looking back on last season, what kind of thoughts have been going through your mind throughout this entire offseason?
Well, I got to come out and be more aggressive. Obviously, I wasn't there with my teammates to help them in the crucial moment of the playoffs, and that still stick with me. But I got to continue to grow and get better, and each year you got to take a step. And I'm just excited to be here healthy and ready to get things going.
How do you stop a shot like the shot Burfict hit you with from changing you as a player? You talked about being fearless and everything. How do you control that?
Well, you can't have no fear. It's like a NASCAR driver who's been in an accident. You can't get in the car with fearful thoughts. You got to have faith. And you just got to go out and be more aggressive.
Have you noticed a difference since then, or it's the same guy? Tell us the truth. Same Antonio Brown since then?
I think my swag got a little bit better,
How could your swag have gotten a little bit better? I mean, no disrespect. That was a devastating hit, and Vontaze Burfict is a big boy. I mean, how do you get up with more swag under those circumstances?
Pick some swag up on the ground while you were down there? What happened?
Well, you got to be more aggressive. You know, you play this game long enough, you're going to get hit, you know, and that just come a part of playing football and being in the game. And obviously that hit actually won us the game, so it's called take one for the team.
Can I ask one thing?
Go ahead.
How do you feel about Vontaze Burfict as a player?
I don't feel no way about him. I haven't thought about him. I don't care too much about him. He's a football player, and I'm looking forward to competing against him.
I got to ask you a question about your teammate, because as great as you are, it's easier to be just as great, if not greater, when your number 2 guy is on the other side of the field, taking some of that pressure off of you because of his greatness. But Martavis Bryant has been suspended for the year. We all know why. I want to know what thoughts go through your mind when you consider the fact that for his lack of discipline basically cost him and could potentially cost y'all.
Well, of course, of NFL, you know, guys going to have issues, and there's always going to be adversity. They allow more opportunities for other guys, and we got to be more sharper as an individual myself. You know, you can't control the things that are going to happen. All you can control is how you produce and how you prepare. And I think other guys on this team are looking forward to opportunities, and I got to be more available to beat 2 or 3 matchups and be ready to take my game up.
But you've got to be, as great as you are, and I'd love to argue Odell Beckham. I'm a Giants fan, but the fact is there's no real argument that beats Antonio Brown over the last couple of years. And as great as you've willed yourself and worked yourself into becoming, you have to look at a guy like Martavis Bryant and say, if I were 7 feet tall and could run a 3.2 40 or whatever he can do, damn what I would do with that. Like, tell me how you feel about that, watching a guy who's blessed in certain ways that you're not, unable to achieve on the level you're achieving, a teammate who you rely on.
Well, this game is 70% mental. It's not about physical. You know, everyone has special tools, but it comes down to your mentality. What are you willing to sacrifice? What are you willing to discipline? What are things you're willing to give up? You know, how important it is to you. And mentally, he got to get right. And if you want it, it's there for him. And it comes down to us as individuals and our mentality.
So you're saying that he has to want it, in other words.
We all can want it for him. We all can speak of his speed, how big he is, but those things don't matter if his mentality is right, if he can't be in the field.
It sounds like you're siding with your quarterback, Big Ben Roethlisberger, who basically said he was disappointed not just because of the act itself, but because of the fact that he felt like he was lied to by his teammate. I'm not asking specifically about that incident, but this team, with this level of potential, what are the kind of things you all are saying to one another now that you're in training camp and you've got this Super Bowl, this season coming up with a lot of expectations? What are you saying to each other?
Well, we holding each other accountable. You know, if we're going to do the things that we desire to do and be a world championship type caliber team, we got to hold everyone accountable. We got to know every guy who got his hand in the pile is going to do what it takes to be on the grass and give us his all. And the man that's here now, preparing for that journey, and we hold each other accountable with such focus of being a world caliber championship team.
Who's the team to beat in the AFC?
Pittsburgh Steelers.
Who are you worried about?
Pittsburgh Steelers.
Not worried about anybody else? Not worried about the New England Patriots?
Why will the Steelers win the AFC North without Bryant and Bell for 4 games?
We got to look within ourselves. We got a lot of guys looking for opportunities. I think we're hungry. We're a young team that's been on the rise for a long time, and I think we're motivated and want success. And we're here putting in the work and the details of things, and we're singly focused on ourselves. We're not worried about anyone. We just worry about getting better each day. And today, a beautiful day in Latrobe for us to get better.
You guys have a great offensive team, there's no doubt. But do you ever sit there and think, like, boy, if we just get it together, if Ladarius Green is really going to come through, not this year, but if Martavis can get it together, what can we become? Do you ever consider, like, the potential of this offense?
Well, potential means nothing if you don't unlock it. And we don't live in our fears and we don't live in our what ifs. We just tackling it day to day, getting better with the men that's in the helmet, and we want to continue to work at it and enjoy the process.
This is a dual question, and I'll openly admit and confess I'm starting trouble here.
Yeah.
I got to ask this question, Antonio.
Yeah.
This defense, do they do a decent job against you in practice? Does the defense do a decent job against you in practice?
They try to do a great job against me.
I didn't ask you whether they tried. Yeah. I said, do they do a decent job against you in practice?
I mean, they do a good job.
Okay, fine. Here's my thing. Antonio Brown is arguably the best in the game. Mm-hmm. You just said they do a decent job against you. Why the hell can't they do a decent job against anybody else in the passing game? Because to me, that's what's holding y'all back from winning the Super Bowl.
Particularly when they practice against you. They're practicing against the best.
If they're practicing against you and they're doing well against you, they should be able to handle regular receivers they run across. Wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. That's why we're here in training camp. Those guys are embracing the roles of competing, and iron sharpen iron, and we all better in our game.
Do you see? Do you see progress? And what progress have you seen in the defense, if you've seen it?
Well, I see a lot of growth. I think Pittsburgh been always known for our defense, and I think those guys are hungry and wanting to get that name in that regards back in their favorites.
Before we get on out of here, did you really think that I was going to let you come up on this set and sit here with me and not explain yourself as to why you decided to go and dance with the stars? Did you really think that was going to happen? You really think what was that about, man? What was that about?
Well, there's a lot of things. You know, I finished last year with a concussion. Obviously, it's hard to learn dances on the course of 5-6 days. So I was looking for something to sharpen my game and better my mental game. And it was absolutely a good time.
Is the Brandon Marshall bet on or not?
First off, Brandon Marshall don't own a Porsche. The Porsche was actually Jet's car. So tell Brandon to call me when he's for real. Maybe he could buy my fans dinner every end of the day that start with a Y. You know?
I actually told him he has to take into consideration who's throwing the football. You got Big Ben throwing the football to you. He's got Ryan Fitzpatrick. That's what I said. Just me.
Love it. We'll leave it there. Antonio, thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate the time. When we